Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back. Today, we have a highly requested castle glitch build tutorial. I cannot even begin to tell you how many times I have been asked to make a tutorial on this, probably since even before I made my TikTok, so I am finally here. Now that I finally know how to record things and do voiceovers, I am finally here showing you how to build this castle. So if you want to know how to build this Glitch House Castle, keep watching. So first things first, you're going to need a glitched house. I have a couple tutorials posted on my profile, so go check those out and then come back here when you've glitched your house. Now, once you've glitched your house, you want to mark where you spawn in, specifically because you do not want the castle to be directly when you spawn into the house. Unless that's what you're going for. But for this specific build, you want the castle to be a little far off into the distance so that you can see it. Then you find your floor, choose whichever one you want, choose whatever color you want, and then you're going to lay your floor exactly how I do it. Once you've laid a good portion of the floor, I like to go out and come back in and check and see how far off I've laid the floor to see where I want to put the castle. Once I'm happy with the side that leads up to the castle, I'm going to turn around and continue the same thing the other direction, because I generally either like to put a little fountain on this side or I like to put a little grind area. So just continue on the floor just like I do. Once we are happy with the width and length of our pathway, we're going to use beams to line the edges of the pathway. Once we've finished the pathway, it's time for steps. Then once you have your steps, then we can start with a door frame. You can choose whichever door frame you like. I generally tend to use the pointy one because I feel like it matches the castle aesthetic the best. But again, you choose whatever color, whatever doorway you like. And then I size it up really big. Once your door frame is sized up to the size you like, line it up with your steps and then kind of raise it up so that it turns into like a really tall door frame. Then you're just going to clone that door frame and use advanced rotate and leave the grid on 1 and spin it all the way around till it's upside down, and then line it up until you can't see the pointed part and put the pointed part under the ground so that it makes a super tall door frame. Then once your door frame is good to go, you can add the towers. There's a bunch of different sizes and shapes you can choose from. There's a square one, there's a round one. Choose whichever one you like and then recolor it. Once your towers are recolored, size them up and use advanced move to put one on each side of your door frame. After you've placed your 2 towers, clone them and resize them and slide them behind each other a little bit so that they're poking out. When you're happy with your towers, you can now clone the main block that you use for your glitch house and slide it to go underneath the castle. Now we are going to clone our door frame again and layer it. So make the second clone super big and make sure it reaches to the towers. And then we're going to raise it up as high as we like it. And then we're going to do the same thing that we did with the other one, where we'll spin it around and slide it into the ground. And now for the super fun part, we get to fill in all the little gaps and make the walls. So my favorite thing to use is rugs because they are free and they are so easy to layer. So you're just going to take the rug, color it whatever color you'd like your walls to be, and then you're going to make sure that it goes inside of the door frame in the middle. I like to put it, and so it's not sticking out so you don't see it poking out, and then the rest can just shove into the tower because nobody's going to be going in the tower and nobody's going to know that the rug is shoved in there. And now you're just going to fill in all the spaces with these rugs. Ooh, that was a workout, but you did it. Now look how good it looks. So now this whole area is ready for a floor. So we're just going to place a floor into the entirety of how big you want your castle to be, and then we'll be ready for the next step. And so now that our floor is all finished, it is time for the walls. And again, I'm going to be using rugs because they're free and you only need to use like one rug for each wall if you size it up. So color that rug the size you want, use advanced rotate to rotate it to the right, standing the right way up. I always use the grid on one, and we're just going to do all the walls. Now again, like I mentioned before, if you want separate rooms and not just one big room like I made, you make this however you like it. This is your build and you can make as many rooms as you like. Make an upstairs, make a balcony, like your imagination can go wild. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to do the one room like I usually do. And then now we're just going to put the ceiling. So you just raise this up, make sure it's above the point of your doorway and not sticking out the front of your castle so nobody knows that it's a rug. And just raise it up and cover the ceiling. Once in a while, you'll need a couple rugs to cover the ceiling depending on how big of a room you made. But just cover your ceiling, make sure it's up high enough, and then your room will be done. And there you go. Look at that. Your ceiling, your room, your inside of your castle is essentially done. All you have to do is fill it with whatever your heart desires. And so now we're just going to go outside and finish the outside. So now out here, we're just going to fill in all the little nooks and crannies where we didn't fully build everything up. So just clone all your beams, slide them all the way up into the castle until they're all the way evenly spaced. And now out here, I like to make it like a little circle area for if you're going to be doing a grind area or a fountain like I'm going to be building. So just get a cylinder, size it all the way up to as big as you want the area to be, and color it, and then just lower it and match it up with the end of the floor. Once you've got that area all good and dandy, now it is time for grass and landscaping. So I like to use the biggest grass and I will size it down or size it up and then lay it down into the side of the ground and push it down just a little bit so it's not covering up your castle, and make sure it does not peek through the beams. And then I'm just going to layer that until my whole ground is covered in grass. Now that we've got everything looking green, we always look like we're floating in the air. So now to just give a little dimension and to make it look more foresty around the grass, make a bigger grass pile, lift it up a little bit, and then go around everything once again. Now our castle is looking all green and ready to go. It is time for trees. Now you can use like I said, whatever trees, whatever, anything you like. Now my favorite ones to use are the super cheap ones because I mean you can size them up. So I always start with the little ones and go around everything. Now it takes a while to size them up. That's the only downside. But just size those trees up. Make sure the little base is hidden in the grass and just go all the way around your little castle island. Ooh-wee, that was a lot of trees. Now that we're finally done with all the trees, we can start on the fountain. So my favorite things to use for a basic fountain is the little, I want to say it's like a pink frosting fountain, and the bird bath. So I like to layer both of them. So you can do whatever you like, but you can just watch, how I do this one, and then, decide what you want to do from there. And there, now we have a cutesy little fountain. And so now really all that is left of this castle is up to you. Now that I love to use all kinds of things to light up the pathway. You can use these basic lamps since they're free, or you can use something cuter, which I'll end up doing probably in a second. But yeah, you can use any light you like to light up the pathway, and then use whatever you like to decorate the castle. And just watch what I do, I guess. And there you go, guys. You did it. You built your very own Glitch House castle. You can add and do whatever you like with yours. I cannot wait to see all of you guys' castles. Seeing you guys' builds makes me so happy. So if you use this tutorial, make sure you tag me so that I can see it. I would love to see how good it looks. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and happy building, guys. I will catch you in my next one. Bye!